Elsie described meeting Joe as the second joyful moment in her life. And she described the first in some detail. I wonder if we might recreate it here. Now, I need for this bit a volunteer, but you don't have to come on stage, you say exactly where you are. I need you to fulfill 3 distinct criteria, all right? To be a good egg, to have a very vivid imagination, and to be prepared to be obedient to me for the next few moments. Now, you all fulfill criteria 1, you're all good eggs, you came to my show, 10 points. So I'm looking for someone with a very vivid imagination who's prepared to be obedient to me. You. What's your name, darling? Elise, I love that. Do you have a very vivid imagination? You don't, Elise. Are you being modest? No. All right, I'll move on. Let's see. It's best not to force it, isn't it? Consent is vital. I was looking at you before. You. What's your name, darling? Maya. Lovely name. Do you have a very vivid imagination? Yes, Maya, good. Are you prepared to be obedient to me for the next few minutes? You say, yes, Ada, I promise. Very good. You're off the hook, Elise. Maya, it's you. Now, Maya, we're going to recreate this first moment of joy the Magnificent Elsie described in her letters, darling, and you're going to play the part of the Magnificent Elsie, all right? Okay. Now, this is what she described. When the Magnificent Elsie... Sorry about that. When the Magnificent Elsie was very young, she was taken for a walk in a London park, and she remembers seeing, Maya, a mysterious woman on a bench, and she felt drawn to this woman, and she didn't know why. And this woman was holding a purse that she describes in some detail. In her letters, the Magnificent Elsie described the purse as having a beautiful mother-of-pearl clasp and an antique velvet ribbon. The mysterious woman beckoned Elsie closer and smiled and reached into the purse and pulled out a deck of cards. Now, darling, I'm going to throw these cards to you, okay? Now, they're imaginary. You're going to catch them first time because this is an imaginary world. And everything we want to happen can happen, all right? So could you please make a catching position with your hands? Lovely, all right? And I'm going to throw these underarm, don't worry. Health and safety. Here we go. Ready? Lovely, lovely stuff. Very good. Now, yes, why not? Now, could you please shuffle those cards? Shuffle those cards, darling. Shuffle them. You might want to take them out of the box first. Details are important. Lovely. Oh, very nice. Look at that, one of those thumb ones. Lovely stuff. I want you to thoroughly shuffle. I don't want you to feel you haven't had enough shuffling time, Maya. All right? Are you happy with how shuffled they are? Very good. Now, could you put them back in the box? Lovely. And could you hold them above your head? Very nice. Well done. You're doing tremendously well. Now, friends, if you have fingers, could I ask you, please, to extend your fingers towards that box that Maya is holding, all right? And wiggle your fingers gently, please. And as you are wiggling your fingers, I want you to think of a deck of cards in brand new deck order, all right? So that's ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king, hearts, spades, clubs, diamonds. Are you thinking of that, friends? Yep. All right, make your fingers rigid now. And relax. Maya, I think now if you take that deck of cards out of that box and have a look at it, you will find that the cards are now in brand new deck order. Is that the case? Yes, give yourselves a huge round of applause. Very good. Well done. Now, you may put the box to one side. Lovely. And you may put the cards... Are you here with a chum? Lovely. Give the cards to your chum for a moment. Okay. Now, darling, can you picture an ice cream tray? You know, the sort of thing that goes around somebody's neck, or a cigarette tray from the naughty days. Can you picture that? All right. I'm going to throw you one here, darling. It's imaginary. All right. And it will inflate as soon as you catch it. Please make a catching position. Here we go. Thank you for making space. For the throwing of the imaginary ice cream tray. Mwah! Here we go. Lovely. It's inflated. How marvellous. Lovely. Could you put it around your neck for me? What colour is it, darling? Red? Ooh, Uncle Alex, we haven't had red for a while. How lovely. What sort of red is it? A deep red. Perfect. Now, please, take that deck of cards from your chum, all right? And as they're in new deck order, this bit should be fairly easy. Could you spread the deck of cards into 2 piles on your little ice cream tray in front of you, all right? So a pile of red cards, the hearts and diamonds, a pile of black cards, the clubs and spades. All right, let me know when it's done. Okay, and make sure we can't go back. You're done? Wonderful. Now, could you please hold one hand over each of those piles, darling, and just focus. Now, you are feeling for a slight sensation in one hand over the other. It could be infinitesimal. Do you feel a slight twitching or sensation in one hand over the other, darling? Do you? How wonderful. Your left hand, lovely. And is that hand over the red cards or the black cards? Please pick up the red cards with that hand. Squirrel! A small squirrel is coming through, as you can see, Maya, wearing a little sack. If you could, squirrel's just coming around to you, just by your feet. If you could put the black cards into squirrel's sack, please. Thank you. Yeah, lovely. Great. Yes, no. Perfect, just on my desk. Thank you very much. Lovely. Now, could you please spread the red cards into 2 piles, darling? So you've got the pile of hearts and the pile of diamonds. Make sure it's exactly right. We can't go back. You've done it? Very good. You're doing so well. Could you hover your hands again? Just you did perfect. Lovely. Now, darling, focus. You're feeling for a slight sensation in one hand over the other. It could be infinitesimal. Do you feel a slight twitching or a sensation in one? Do you, darling? All right, which hand is it this time? It's the right hand this time, the other hand. Is that hand over the hearts or the diamonds? Please pick up the diamonds with that hand. Hold them close. Squirrel! The squirrel is returning with this little sack, all right? If you could please put the hearts into squirrel's sack. Lovely. Thank you very much. That's great. Yeah, just on top of the other ones. Thank you. Lovely stuff. Great. Wonderful. Now, please take off your ice cream tray, all right, with the other hand. You can either give it back to me, keep it, or throw it into the air where it will dissolve like ether. What would you like? Poof-oom. Well done. Now you have a handful of diamonds. Could you please, if you can, could you please stand up for me? Wonderful. Now, in a moment, this is what's going to happen next. The audience are going to wiggle their fingers at you again, all right? And then they're going to say, wow. And when they say, wow, darling, you are going to throw those cards in the air above your head where they're going to form a beautiful cascade. It's a real shame photos aren't allowed, Uncle Alex, because I do think this would be a lovely moment. We must feed that back. Then you will look away and without pre-planning anything, darling, you will reach into the cascade and you will pluck one of the cards entirely at random and you will get it first time, all right? Pluck one card, the others will fall around you and be absorbed into the grey carpet tile. Squirrel will dig for them later, all right? So we're very clear. The audience will wiggle their fingers. They will say, wow. You will then throw the cards in the air. They will form a beautiful cascade. You will then look away. You will reach into the cascade. You will pluck one of those cards at random, darling, first time without pre-planning anything, and you will let the rest of the cards fall around you. Do you understand? Speak to me. Any questions? Really? No questions at all about any of this? You were the right person for the job. All right. Now, friends, could you please prepare your wiggling fingers as you did before? Now, just to ramp up the tension, we're going to say wow on 12. Okay, here we go. 1, 3, 4.5, 6.27, 7, 8-ish. Nearly 9, 10, it's going to happen. 11, stand by. 12! Better go through! Wait, look away, catch, you got one, darling. Ooh, well done. Very good, well done, that was excellent. Now, I would like you, please, you're holding one card in your hand. It is a diamond. Please look at that card. What is that card, darling? 4 of diamonds, really? Extraordinary. Could you please show The Four of Diamonds. Just check. I want everybody to be able to see and verify that that's the Four of Diamonds. Lovely, you've done it. Very nice. Now, could you please fold that card into half, darling, all right? Lovely, and fold it into quarters. Very nice. And could you now throw the Four of Diamonds back in there? And could everybody please give her a huge round of applause? Now, this is what happened next. You did everything the Magnificent Elsie did. And what happened next is this. The mysterious woman reached into her beautiful purse and rummaged around in it and found one card. And she pulled it out. And it was a card that was folded into quarters. And it was a card that was folded into halves. And when she opened it up, it was the Four of Diamonds. Very good. Well done, you.